Good morning. I'm Susana Rivera-Mills, and it is my honor to serve as Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. This is my third convocation, and while I stand in the same spot I did for the last 2 years, it certainly looks and feels a little different this year. But I am very glad that we can continue with this long-standing tradition and start the 2021 academic year together. This morning, I will take a few moments to reflect on this last year and look to the coming year. We will then honor faculty and staff who have served the university with distinction as we recognize our annual award winners for their outstanding achievements. And President Mearns will offer his remarks. We typically would begin this university event with the playing of the national anthem. Given the manner in which we gathered this morning, it seems more appropriate to offer a moment of silence in recognition and in gratitude for our health, for this opportunity to come together, and for our ability to fulfill our educational mission. So please join me in a moment of silence. I usually take time to introduce our new campus colleagues. While I won't ask them to stand and be recognized the way I normally would, I do want to welcome to campus Dr. Anand Mari, Dean of the Teachers College. And I want to welcome all of our new department chairs, faculty, and staff throughout the university. You join us at a challenging but still exciting time, and we look forward to meeting you both virtually and in person. To not mention the last academic year, including the last 5 months, would be an oversight, to say the least. This time last year, we had plans, both big and small, that were designed to move us forward and to meet our strategic plan goals. Over the last year, we examined existing programs and curricula. We revised, put on hold, and created new programs. Additionally, we continued to review our budget for greater efficiencies and planning. This time last year, I spoke of the need for greater efforts from all of us on student retention. To that end, many of us proudly sported first-gen buttons and hung first-gen posters in our offices. Last year, we improved our data gathering and sharing, and we continued to foster, embrace, and be creative in our collaborations across campus. We recommitted ourselves to inclusive excellence and environmental stewardship, and we actively and enthusiastically advanced our strategic plan initiatives. Much has been said about this being an unprecedented time. And although it may be for us, it isn't in history. In fact, we have all seen and perhaps marveled at the news reports of the survivors of the 1918 pandemic who recovered from COVID-19 this spring. There have been other health crises, ranging from typhoid fever in 430 BC to HIV/AIDS, which was identified as a pandemic in the early 1980s. Likewise, you may have colleagues who were at Tulane or other southern universities that were devastated by Hurricane Katrina. History helps us find hope and comfort in the fact that we can learn from those who have endured other unprecedented times, and we can join our colleagues across higher education and learn from each other as we strive to provide the best educational opportunities for our students and prepare them for a post-COVID-19 future. I am incredibly grateful to all of you who pivoted last spring and scrambled to offer courses and services remotely. Our support for our students and each other never wavered, whether it was providing technology to students, sitting in the stadium parking lot for better Wi-Fi, helping each other with Canvas and WebEx, making grocery deliveries to our colleagues, baking and sharing of our sourdough bread, or holding virtual department happy hours. We rose to the challenge. We faced it together, and we faced it with courage and innovation, which are two of our enduring values. And I know that for many of you, the greatest challenge has been not knowing what to expect and not being able to plan. The thought that this may be the new normal can be stressful, particularly in light of evolving information and the need to rapidly change. So we must be prepared to adjust as we continue to learn more, and more importantly, to take care of ourselves so that we can also take care of those around us. I want to share with you some musings I jotted down last Sunday as I explored the world of painting, which is new to me and is helping me find ways to manage my own stress and mental wellness. So here we go. I call this one Art, a Random Thought. The beginning, my intentional journey with art. Today at 3 p.m. on Sunday, August 16th, 2020, my first painting lesson with the artist from Petersburg, Indiana. Found her through lessons.com. Who knew? Always wanted to paint, though it could wait until retirement. But why wait? So decided now was the right time to begin. Motivation, the why now, 2020, social injustices, COVID-19 pandemic, university closures, health crises, deaths, blatant inequities, anger, social unrest, violence. My dad's stroke and deteriorating health, a sense of helplessness and overwhelming sadness, a need to express the inexpressible, my life, meaning, purpose, mortality, home. Need, you ask, need? Need to breathe deeply, to exhale the negative, space, beauty, peace, to let go, to know it's okay, to be still, quiet, reflection moments. Time, yes, time. Time to think, time to see others, really see others. Time to just be, rest and heal, God and me, to be okay, and we will be okay, to express the inexpressible, art. So whether it's baking, painting, or playing the bongos, I hope that you have each found the opportunity to take up new activities that you enjoy as part of your own well-being. Over the summer, we had hundreds of people working above and beyond the call of duty to prepare for fall and support our faculty, students, and staff in extraordinary ways. I want to thank the Division of Online and Strategic Learning and the Division of Information Technology for all of their assistance last spring and this summer in helping us continue our mission. I want to thank my colleagues in enrollment planning and management, especially admissions and orientation, for working so hard to make sure we have students to teach this fall. While we missed having students and their families on our campus, we were still able to show them our beautiful campus and help them discover who we are. Thanks to all of you who participated in meetings with prospective students. And I want to thank the faculty for their work, especially over the summer, to plan our courses for this fall. I understand faculty and student impatience as we waited to finalize our schedules, but we owe tremendous thanks to the folks in academic systems who reviewed over 7,000 sections of courses to shift modalities and spaces, and to the academic advisors and retention office who answered emails and calls from concerned students on what seemed each one of those 7,000 sections. I also want to thank University Marketing and Communications for helping the president and I send numerous emails, social media messages, and videos to many audiences to keep people informed of our plans. And of course, I am incredibly grateful to the many individuals that served on the trust group and on the academic planning committee and the classroom space assessment task force, and engaged with hundreds of others across campus to prepare us all for this fall. As we look ahead, I want to encourage us all to think about what might come from the experiences we have faced recently. The decade after the pandemic of 1918 saw the invention of many things, including the torque wrench, the grocery bag, the hydraulic brake, the toaster and blender, the polygraph, the cotton swab, masking tape, and, of course, corn dogs and Eskimo pies. That period saw the refinement of penicillin and the invention of insulin and the electrocardiogram. What might this academic year bring to us? Where will we find hope and opportunities for innovation? Many of us have been anxious at some point in the last few months. I've shared with you my musings of last Sunday. But in the middle of these challenges, we saw virtual ceremonies and gatherings and physically distanced parades. And the arts continued their presence virtually to inspire us all. There was joy. All summer, students in regalia and their families have returned to our campus to take pictures at Benny, the arts terraces, and by their academic buildings. There is still joy. We have done more than make do. We have done more than get by. We have continued with our work, and I think we have developed a new and greater appreciation for all of us at the university. I know I have. And we will continue to exercise our hope in the future. Kevin Gannon, author of Radical Hope, states that teaching is a radical act of hope. It is an assertion of faith in a better future, in an increasing uncertain and fraught present. It is a commitment to that future, even if we can't clearly discern its shape. We exercise this radical hope every time we teach. I have faith that we will rise to face whatever lies ahead. I know that we will be creative, courageous, and unified in our efforts. Despite the divisiveness that our nation is experiencing, at Ball State, we will continue to be a community committed to excellence, innovation, courage, integrity, inclusiveness, social responsibility, and above all, gratitude. I so wish you a successful, safe, and healthy fall semester. In speaking, thank you. So at this time, speaking of excellence, it is my privilege to present awards to those who have been designated as outstanding by their colleagues and students. All of the awards we are about to present involve detailed selection processes and long hours of reviewing nominations and supporting materials by committee members. I want to thank all of you for helping us continue this tradition and for recognizing these deserving colleagues. I also want to thank our colleagues in the foundation for their continued support of these awards.
Our first award recognizes Sarah Vitale, Assistant Professor of Religious Studies, who is this year's recipient of the Lawhead Award for Core Curriculum.
Established more than 25 years ago by Victor and Doris Lawhead, a former dean and academic advisor respectively, the Lawhead Award recognizes contributions to the university core curriculum and to creating an excellent learning environment.
Sarah was nominated for her teaching of Tier 1 and Tier 2 courses. According to her nominators,
Dr. Vitale excels in all aspects of teaching. She is an astute course designer with a rich background in learning theory. Her course artifacts are clear and her communication is welcoming, efficient, and meaningful.
Sarah studies the scholarship of teaching and learning in a targeted fashion, looking for best teaching practices established by peer-reviewed research. She also loves her students. As one student noted,
Dr. Vitale's biggest strength is her ability to engage students in the learning process. She comes to class with a tremendous amount of energy every day, and it shows. You can tell she loves what she does and is passionate about helping students learn.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Next, we will recognize the recipients of our Excellence in Teaching Award.
The selection committee for this award, which consists of past Excellence in Teaching recipients, recommended 3 winners, each of whom will work to make an existing course more innovative and engaging.
This award is the only award for which the recipients are nominated by our students. which makes this honor all the more special for our winners.
In alphabetical order, our first Excellence in Teaching Award recipient is Crystal Geyer.
As a 2019-2020 Excellence in Teaching Award recipient, Crystal plans to enhance her course titled Entrepreneurship 341, Opportunity Identification.
For this upper-level course, Crystal will augment existing pedagogy by adding opportunities for students to play with course concepts.
Traditionally, students in this consulting-based course work with small businesses on a problem or opportunity. Working with Docile, Crystal has moved the project outside of class time, and students are submitting video pitches.
With at least 25% of the semester freed up, students spend more time thinking big, practicing the entrepreneurial skill of play, and learning through experiential activities.
Congratulations, Crystal.
Our next Excellence in Teaching Award recipient is Jason Riblett.
Jason plans to enhance his upper-level chemistry course dedicated to the exploration of the elements within the periodic table, as well as the table itself.
Originally taught in a lecture lab format, Jason is working to replace his lectures with a style of innovative teaching that empowers his students to engage in the subject material.
He is looking to challenge his students and take them beyond their perceived limits.
Jason knows that chemistry can be tough even for those who like the subject.
So he will now include group work, problem solving, and discussion, among other activities.
Congratulations, Jason.
Our final 2019-2020 Excellence in Teaching Award recipient is Dorchelle Stewart.
Dorchelle won this year's award for her plans to enhance her 300-level course titled Teaching Social Studies in the Elementary School.
Dorchelle will work to maximize the community-based and culturally relevant social studies teaching methods she employs in the online environment.
To establish and maintain a sense of community and cultural responsiveness in her class, Dorchelle has created a classroom contract and added wellness checks and de-stressing techniques.
She will use introductory videos, discussion boards, Zoom breakout rooms, and the Remind app to allow the class to connect with each other without having to exchange phone numbers.
Congratulations, Dorchelle.
Our colleagues in the Division of Online and Strategic Learning will work with all 3 Excellence in Teaching Award winners to provide them with resources as they work to redesign the courses for which they've been recognized.
Later in the year, our winners will present their findings at the Docile Spring Colloquial Series.
Congratulations to all 3 of you. We look forward to learning more about your revised courses.
Our next award recognizes the work of one of our colleagues who goes above and beyond the students he serves online.
This year's recipient of the Rawlings Outstanding Distance Education Teaching Award is Lawrence Judge.
In his graduate course, Skills and Tactics in Coaching, Larry leverages intimate online discussions and activities. He creates a caring, positive learning environment that empowers his students to believe in themselves and their capabilities.
Larry divides his students into small groups, with each group encouraged to develop autonomy and responsibility for their own learning.
The effectiveness of this learning environment has earned Larry praise from his students, one of whom said,
Dr. Judge really engaged his students in the learning process with his well-thought-out discussion questions. I thought they were very challenging at times throughout the semester.
Another student of Larry's, who is a recent graduate, added that
the variety and creative nature of our projects and assignments ensured that we had practical experience with current online information and coaching tools that would leave us with a coaching portfolio. My experiences in Dr. Judge's classes were always challenging, rewarding, and enriching.
We are confident that the creativity and commitment Larry has demonstrated in creating this exemplary course would make Joseph Rawlings proud.
The Rawlings Award is named in honor of Dean Rawlings, who dedicated himself to serving our off-campus students through distance education courses and programs for more than 20 years.
Congratulations, Larry.
Next, we want to recognize this year's recipient of the Outstanding Diversity Advocate Award.
Ruby Kane has made it her life's work to champion diversity in all aspects of life.
She is an admired faculty member in our Department of Educational Studies, an educator who lives by the saying that
everyone has something to learn and something to teach and a responsibility to do both.
In her personal and professional life, Ruby exemplifies this commitment to lifelong learning.
Since 2014, she has taught cultural identities and community engagement, an immersive learning experience that pairs students with community partners to create a civic engagement activity that explores race and cultural identity.
Ruby has worked with numerous community partners, including the NAACP, the Facing Project, and the Roy Bewley Center. She is also the founding director of It Is Well With My Soul, a community program focused on racial healing and equity.
Ruby has inspired many students, including Molly McGuire, who met Ruby when she began her graduate work at Ball State in 2016 and enrolled in her Cultural Identities course. Molly later encouraged her sister to take the same class. In her own words, Molly said of her mentor,
Dr. Kane continues to live and breathe education and social justice. One look at her CV and you will see that she is a go-getter, yet she remains humble regarding her experience, accomplishments, and achievements.
Ruby has won an impressive list of awards that recognizes her commitment to teaching and scholarship and her commitment to diversity.
They include the 2018 Diversity Scholarship Award, the Outstanding Faculty Award from the African American Studies Program, the Image Award from Ball State's chapter of the NAACP, and the Thurgood Marshall Drum Major for Social Justice Award from the Fort Wayne Urban League.
We commend Ruby on adding this much-deserved Diversity Advocate Award to her impressive list of accomplishments.
Ruby was not able to attend convocation in person with us today, so she has asked her colleague, John Anderson, from the Department of Sociology to accept this award on her behalf.
Our next award recognizes this year's Outstanding Advisor, Barb Stedman.
Dr. Stedman works tirelessly to improve opportunities for our students in the world beyond our campus.
As Director of National and International Scholarships, Barb meets annually with approximately 500 students in her multifaceted role as advisor, teacher, and coach.
Over the years, she has mentored nearly 200 students and alumni in winning nationally competitive scholarships. One of her student success stories is graduate Haley Carroll.
With Barb's guidance, Haley received a Cultural Vistas Fellowship, and she credits Barb for pushing her to make her aspirations a reality. Haley said,
I want to let the committee know that it's because of Barb that many Ball State students, myself included, are reaching potentials they really didn't think they could, even in their wildest dreams.
Barb has made countless contributions to our Honors College. For the past 18 years, she has served on the Whitinger Scholarship Selection Committee, helping attract some of the nation's most talented students to Ball State.
And she has guided more than 20 Honors College students through creating their undergraduate thesis, mentorship she's offered without additional load or pay.
Barb goes above and beyond her job description to contribute to the students' success. In the words of Warren Vanderhill, Provost Emeritus,
Dr. Barbara Stedman is the kind of advisor we all wish we had when doing our undergraduate degrees. Thoughtful, kind, considerate, but always ready to challenge you to do your best work.
We couldn't agree more. Barb, you are certainly an outstanding advisor. Congratulations.
The next winner we are recognizing today is Telecommunications Professor Dominic KRYSTAL.
Dom Christie is receiving the Outstanding Faculty Service Award in recognition of his work across colleges and divisions, but today we will highlight his work as our Fulbright Ambassador.
In this role, Dom provides information and guidance to students interested in applying for Fulbright Awards, convenes a faculty committee to evaluate and interview candidates, and transmits all application materials to Fulbright's headquarters.
Dom's commitment to the position reflects his own positive experience with the Fulbright program and embodies the spirit of our Faculty Outstanding Service Award. In his own words, Dom said,
On the world stage, my 2 Fulbright grants have been the greatest achievements of my academic career and have made a tremendous impact on me, both personally and professionally. I feel a deep debt of gratitude to the Fulbright program, and I have worked hard to pay forward some of what I have received.
Dom believes passionately in the Fulbright mission, and he has made faculty participation on the Fulbright Interview and Selection Committee an honor.
The resulting successes of Dom's tireless efforts as our Fulbright ambassador are impressive.
In Dom's 12 years as ambassador, 31 Ball State applicants received Fulbright grants to Europe, Asia, Africa, and South America, a figure that surpasses the total number of grants awarded to our students in the preceding 58 years.
In her nomination letter, Dom's colleague, Lisa Kurisak, said,
Whenever Dom's name comes up in casual conversations with students who are going through or have gone through the Fulbright process, their reaction is immense gratitude and admiration packaged in a giant smile. This is a direct result of the unique professional and personal skills, dedication, and passion that Dom brings to his role as Fulbright Program Advisor. We are incredibly fortunate to have him here at Ball State.
Thank you, Dom, and congratulations.
Moving on, our next award recognizes one of our college's exemplary administrative skills.
In more than 3 decades of service and in multiple roles at Ball State, DELAINA Boyd has found meaningful ways to connect faculty, staff, students, and university resources with businesses, municipalities, and community partners.
As founding director of the Office of Community Engagement and Associate Vice President for Community Engagement, DELAINA is responsible for developing and deploying institution-wide programs and initiatives that ensure a sustained culture of community engagement.
DELAINA's peers and colleagues admire her integrity and her commitment to cultivating a strong university-community relationship. Jacqueline Hanneman, director of the Ross Community Center, said,
DELAINA understands and cherishes Ball State working hand in hand with community organizations and residents to establish and maintain equitable relationships that benefit us all and promote the common good.
DELAINA led our university's efforts to secure the Carnegie Foundation's Community Engagement Classification in 2015, and she guided the creation of our first Engagement Action Plan.
Her work laid the foundation for President Mearns' Better Together initiative, which has launched new partnerships between the university and the city of Muncie, Muncie Community Schools, the United Way, and IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital.
In his recommendation letter, retired Ball State Administrator John Fallon attributes our recent successes in community engagement to DELAINA's consistent leadership.
To many in the city, she is the face of the university, and people's impressions of the institution are a reflection of their connection to her. The cumulative effect of this is an increasingly positive and productive relationship that represents potential for even greater opportunities and possibilities in the years ahead.
DELAINA is tremendously gifted at seeing the discrete, actionable steps that are required to achieve a goal and mobilizing the right people to accomplish each step along the way. We are grateful for her hard work on behalf of the university and our community.
Thank you, and congratulations, DELAINA.
The next winner we are recognizing today is Peggy Fisher, who is the recipient of this year's Outstanding Faculty Teaching Award.
Peggy is an exceptional teacher who has had an impact on her students through on-campus and online classes, and she is the director of both undergraduate and graduate internships.
Peggy teaches a wide variety of classes, including business and professional communication, interviewing, organizational communication, and nonverbal communication. Peggy's students describe her as passionate, caring, and committed. As one student described,
"Because of Dr. Fisher's support and encouragement, I have continued to volunteer for leadership roles and projects today. She has encouraged me to step outside my comfort zone and obtain new skills that I might not have gotten the chance to learn if it wasn't for her encouragement."
Peggy has taught an immersive learning class every semester for the past 10 years, and her students have created websites, promotional materials, grants, and training videos for community partners that include
St. Mary's Church, CVC Communications, Indiana University Ball Memorial Hospital, Habitat for Humanity, Muncie Action Plan, SCORE, CASA, Innovation Connector, Teamwork for Quality Living, and Open Door Health Services, just to name a few.
Congratulations, Peggy.
Next, we recognize one of our colleagues from the College of Sciences and Humanities.
Richard Petz deserves our Outstanding Research Award for many reasons, but one reason is his productivity.
By current count, Richard has published or is forthcoming a total of 28 peer-reviewed articles and 2 book chapters, with 7 additional works under review.
The quality and quantity of Richard's work is astounding. Based on a search of Google Scholar citations, his research is influencing other scholars, with his work cited more than 1,000 times.
But it's the qualitative impact of Richard's scholarship that is most impressive. He seeks to understand factors that contribute to family inequality, and more importantly, whether and how social institutions and policies reduce the consequences of inequality. Specifically, he asks,
how does religion alleviate or exacerbate family inequality? Does religion encourage men to be more engaged in family life? How do gender norms, public policies, and workplace practices influence gender and socioeconomic inequalities within families?
Answers to these questions are complex, but Richard's colleagues, both at Ball State and across the nation, have tremendous respect for him and his work. As one peer described,
translating knowledge to ways that meaningfully address significant societal issues, Dr. Pett's much-needed scientific work is courageous, rigorous, and balanced.
Congratulations again, Richard.
Next up is our Outstanding Junior Faculty Award, which this year goes to Douglas Bernstein from our Department of Biology.
Doug completed his PhD from the University of Wisconsin and performed his postdoctoral training at the Whitehead Institute for Biomedical Research, which is affiliated with MIT. At Ball State, he has had a transformative impact in the areas of teaching, research, and service.
The number of students he has mentored, his contributions to teaching, and his research productivity are staggering for someone at his career stage. In her nomination letter, Heather Hunley, an IU professor who is an expert in Doug's research field, said,
Dr. Bernstein has transformed courses with innovative topics and laboratory techniques, as well as used his expertise to create an important scholarly course on medical mycology. He has been a true team player, not only in his service for the biology department, but to the scientific community for the state of Indiana and the local Muncie community.
Doug's primary teaching responsibilities include microbiology for the allied health sciences, medical mycology, an introduction to recombinant DNA and RNA techniques. He has transformed and modernized each of these courses to meet the needs of his students. One former student, Ellen Wagner, who received a graduate research fellowship from the National Science Foundation, had this to say about her mentor.
To say my time at Ball State University, working with Dr. Bernstein, impacted the trajectory of my life would be an understatement.
Doug's scholarship is nothing short of extraordinary. His research employs cutting-edge genetic techniques to investigate a disease-causing fungus that is dangerous for individuals with weakened immune systems. For his work, he has obtained more than $400,000 in competitive external funding, including a prestigious grant from the National Institute of Health. In his own words, Ken Badger, chair of the biology department, said,
Dr. Bernstein is strengthening the research environment of our department and the university.
Thank you, Doug, and congratulations.
Our final award of the day goes to Carolyn Shu, who is receiving the 2019-2020 Outstanding Faculty Award.
Carrie teaches a variety of courses at the undergraduate and graduate levels, including quantitative research methods, interpersonal communication, communication theory, health communication, and applied organizational communication.
Her students and colleagues find her to be respectful and approachable, dedicated and enthusiastic. One Ball State graduate had this to say about Carrie's influence on her life.
Dr. Shu is the kind of person who asks tough questions, challenges her students to think in new and innovative ways, and serves as a committed advocate for them. The things I admire most about Dr. Shu are her authenticity, her strategic thinking, and her genuine passion for student development.
Carolyn's commitment to her students does not come at the expense of her excellence as a researcher. Her record of scholarship is outstanding, and she has established herself as a leading scholar in the field of health communications. External reviewers of her work use words like thoughtful and substantial to describe her scholarship, commenting that
Dr. Shu's research is critical, both in educating clients to be more knowledgeable self-advocates and in improving relationships between clients and healthcare providers.
Carrie also provides a high level of service to the department, her college, the university, and her discipline. She has provided indispensable leadership in curricular planning and assessment efforts. A few of her service obligations include her involvement on the following boards and committees:
Institutional Review Board, CCIM Promotion and Tenure Committee, Graduate Program Committee, Vision Team, Health Communication Interest Group, BSU Research Committee, Higher Learning Commission Advisory Group, Academic Planning Steering Committee, Higher Learning Commission Accreditation Process Team. That's quite a list.
Most recently, Carrie has taken on a new responsibility as research coordinator for IU Health Ball Hospital's Family Medicine Residency,
a role that makes her the latest example of why she is so deserving of this award.
Congratulations again, Carrie.
Let's congratulate all of our awardees one more time. And now it is my pleasure to present Ball State's President, Jeff Mearns.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Susanna. During these challenging times, I think I speak for every member of the university community. We're grateful for your leadership and your guidance. And some of you know that last fall, Susanna was recognized appropriately as a woman of influence by the Indianapolis Business Journal, and it's a well-deserved honor that reminds us of how fortunate we are to have you as our provost. To this year's award recipients, congratulations. Your contributions are truly profound and enduring, and I appreciate all that you do to support our students and to advance the mission of our university. In our introductory remarks, the provost welcomed our new dean and our new faculty members, and I'd like to welcome two other new members of the university community. Last December, Governor Holcomb appointed the newest member of our Board of Trustees. Mark Hardwick is a Ball State graduate and the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer of First Merchants Bank, which is headquartered here in Muncie. Mark earned his bachelor's degree in economics in 1993, and he was a member of the 1989-1990 men's basketball team that was inducted into our Athletics Hall of Fame. I also want to welcome Paula Luff. She is our new Vice President for Enrollment Planning and Management. Paula is an Indiana resident, but she joined us in April from DePaul University in Chicago. And then to all of our faculty and our staff, welcome. And thank you for being with us virtually from your office or from wherever you may be joining us this morning. Of course, the small group that's here, we all wish that you were here with us in Emmons Auditorium. This small but special audience will represent all of you until we can hold this program again in person next year. And I'm sure I speak for every member of the university community that we all look forward to that day with great anticipation. So this year I begin my 4th academic year as the president of Ball State University, and as I say, today and every day, it is a privilege to serve you. At our convocation last August, I described how impressed I was with the impact of your work. I shared how inspired I am by your many contributions, which are leading us to the bright future that the provost spoke about earlier this morning. And for 9 months, from last July through March, that momentum continued. And I'm going to talk about some of that progress in a moment. But then in the spring semester, we were confronted with 2 extraordinary challenges. First, the global pandemic, and then the civil unrest in our country that has demonstrated an urgent need for us to accelerate our efforts to create a campus, a community, and a country that is more equitable and more just. And so it is important for me to discuss these issues as well today. But to begin, I want to remind you of some of the good things that happened last year. I'll share a few examples of how our momentum continues to be driven by you, our faculty and our staff, as well as by our talented students and our dedicated graduates. Last fall, Janet Fick and James Jones, faculty members from the Estopanol College of Architecture and Planning, they led a multidisciplinary group of students in becoming the first collegiate team in the Midwest and only the 5th team in the world to certify that an existing building met the LEED standards of the United States Green Building Council. Last January, for the 16th consecutive year, students from our Department of Theater and Dance earned national awards at the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. And our colleague, Professor Jennifer Blackmer, received the Kennedy Center Medallion. It's a prestigious award. It is one of the greatest honors in theater education. Faculty from our Department of Telecommunications partnered with colleagues from the School of Music's Media Production Program and colleagues from the Department of Speech Pathology and Audiology to work with students to design a project to measure the volume of Netflix programming. This team, our team, presented their findings virtually to Netflix earlier this summer. Last year, students from our music media production program continued to introduce local teenagers to the magic of music production. With support from a Provost's Immersive Learning Grant, Professor Christoph Thompson and 10 of his students installed a recording studio and control room, complete with professional headsets, music, and computers. They installed this equipment inside the Bewley Center. As many of you know, the Bewley Center is a community center that is the cornerstone of Muncie's Whiteley neighborhood. Christoph's students created the Junior Producers Club to help young people learn about song structure and music theory. Christoph's works with his students is just one example of how our faculty engage in educational opportunities that help our students develop professionally and that also have a positive impact on our community. Last November, colleagues from the College of Health presented our university's first interactive poverty simulation. This event provided our students with a better understanding of how poverty affects people. Students from the College of Health who were enrolled in a community nutrition course also donated more than 200 hours of their time to local hunger relief agencies. Their community service is just one of the ways we have been addressing food insecurity in our region here in Indiana. Another example is Professor Adam Berlin's work last spring with his geography students, mapping our local food system. Their research benefited the Delaware County Food Council. The council was formed in cooperation with the Muncie Food Hub Partnership, which is directed by Professor Josh Groover. Both Adam and Josh teach in our College of Sciences and Humanities. And then students in our hospitality and food management program also created a free dining program at Allegra, which is our student-run restaurant. The students provided 900 meals to members of our campus and local communities who are food insecure. And so as a community-engaged university, we are committed to serving our friends and our neighbors. But we also serve people far beyond the state of Indiana. Last September, I met with several faculty members who told me about their recent trip to Kenya. While there, they presented to high schools, hospitals, and health centers to spread awareness about sickle cell anemia. They also visited a village school where they delivered uniforms, medicine, and supplies. The trip was arranged by Professor Winnie Muchara, who is in our Teachers College. Since joining our university 20 years ago, Winnie has established partnerships with universities in her native Kenya, partnerships that have allowed our faculty to engage in important international scholarship. Like our faculty, our students seek opportunities to learn, to grow, and to make a difference in other countries. Earlier today, as you know, we honored Barb Stedman with our Outstanding Advisor Award. This past spring, thanks to Barb's guidance, we celebrated our 12th UK Fulbright Summer Institute recipient in just 9 years. Xander Lahosik, an exercise science major and honor college student, will spend 3 weeks next summer in Scotland, where he will take courses in biomedical science and explore the culture and history of Scotland. Barb also mentored Sierra Sandwith, who became our 12th Goldwater Scholarship recipient in our university's history. And I'm proud of all of our students who received competitive scholarships. I'm also proud of our student athletes. Last spring, across all sports programs, our student athletes earned a collective GPA of 3.32, the highest semester GPA in the history of our athletics program. Approximately 60% of our student athletes made the dean's list, and 74 Cardinals during that semester, interrupted by the pandemic, 74 of our student athletes earned perfect 4.0 GPAs. So notwithstanding the challenges of the pandemic, it was a good year for our university, for our colleges, and for our divisions. It was also a good year for our fundraising. For the second year in a row, our alumni and other benefactors memorialized more than $30 million in new philanthropic commitments to Ball State University. That is the first time in our history that we've reached this level in 2 consecutive years. This past spring, we also held our second annual One Ball State Day. Now, as you may remember, in the days leading up to April 7, we were anxious about how the pandemic might impact our success. In fact, we considered canceling the event, but we decided to proceed because we knew that our students needed that financial support. And so together, our faculty, staff, students, alumni, and friends contributed on that one day $530,000. The 24-hour campaign resulted in more than 6,300 gifts from more than 4,300 donors on one day. They demonstrated that, especially during challenging times, Cardinals care. I'm very grateful to all the women and men who continue to contribute to our university, and I'm grateful to our partners in the foundation who encourage this philanthropy. Our strong fundraising success has generated positive momentum, the positive momentum that we need to launch our next comprehensive capital campaign, which will be the most ambitious in our university's history. Now, ambitious is also the word to describe the long-term 2040 goals in our strategic plan, which, as the provost mentioned, we continue to implement. In December, our board approved the Strategic Imperative Fund. Now, our original intent when we created that fund was to award up to $5 million to support innovative projects that would advance our strategic plan. But because of our current budget constraints, I decided to fund a smaller number of proposals for a total of approximately $2.2 million. This summer, We also completed our first strategic plan annual report. This report illustrates the progress in each of our strategic imperatives. And in a few weeks, I will share that report with you. But some of the highlights include our enhanced enrollment strategies to serve underrepresented students, our launch of several new programs to serve lifetime learners, and the completion of our Inclusive Excellence Plan, which I'll talk more about in just a few minutes. The third goal of our strategic plan is to mobilize and lead partnerships that revitalize our city and our region. We know that we make progress towards this goal by increasing our community-engaged coursework, by immersive learning projects, and by various outreach events. To pursue this objective in a new way, our College of Communication, Information, and Media is coordinating with our Office of Immersive Learning to launch our first Immersive Learning Collaborative. CCIM is making a multi-year commitment to a single community partner, the 812 Coalition. This coalition is working to improve the quality of life in one of Muncie's urban neighborhoods. CCIM students will work with the 812 Coalition to address several issues, including neighborhood revitalization, community building, and food insecurity. The goal of this new immersive learning model is to create meaningful and lasting change that can be accomplished through coordinated projects and programs, as well as research and volunteer efforts. Another objective of the third goal of our strategic plan is our historic partnership with the Muncie Community Schools. In the past 2 years, working together, we've made significant strides to transform our local public schools. And I'm grateful to our colleagues from the Office of Community Engagement for their commitment to this partnership. And I want to recognize especially Tiffany Arnold Pine. As the Community Volunteer Program Manager for MCS, Tiffany works with principals and with MCS teachers and staff to mobilize people and organizations all across the community to volunteer to serve our local public schools. I'm also grateful to the provost and everyone else who played a significant role in drafting the MCS Academic Innovation Plan, including and especially faculty from our Teachers College. This plan describes how the district will collaborate with our university and with other community partners to implement an innovative, community-based education model that guides our students from cradle to career. By implementing this plan, MCS continues on a trajectory to create an excellent educational experience for every child in Muncie. Closer to home at the university last fall, I spoke about our university's need to improve our undergraduate retention rate. And I'm pleased to report that our retention rate this year is presently tracking 5 percentage points higher than last year. And I'm grateful to Susanna and Roanne Royer-Engel and their respective teams for developing our comprehensive retention plan. This plan, of course, is still evolving, but I'm encouraged by the significant progress that we're already making. And I'm pleased by how our colleges and divisions are dedicating their own resources to address this issue. Last fall, our Miller College of Business created a new program called SOAR. This program provides undergraduate students with meaningful opportunities to enhance career competencies, to develop professional preparedness, and to connect with campus resources. The college also hired a new director of student success who will oversee SOAR and lead the college's other retention initiatives. REACH is another program that helps our students succeed. REACH is a 1-credit-hour course that prepares incoming students for the transition to college with a focus on students of color and first-generation students. The course is taught by Bobby Steele, the director of our Multicultural Center. Bobby reports that 90% of the first-year students who participated in REACH last year are enrolled and registered and are returning this fall. But it's not just about programs. As important as it is for us to have a comprehensive retention plan in place, a plan supported by innovative programs like SOAR and REACH, I believe it's our people. It's our people who have the greatest impact on whether our students continue their college education. And so I'm grateful to Gloria Pavlik and her staff for their many contributions. Last March, Gloria and her team made retention awards to several students whose bursar balances would have impeded their ability to register for the fall. And the parent of one of these students sent Gloria a handwritten thank you note, which described what a challenging few months it had been for his family and how the award to his daughter had been, in his words, a godsend. The student's father wrote, "Ball State is a fantastic university, and this award is a perfect example of what makes this such a great institution. Some of the kindest and best people work there, and you are certainly among those who represent your institution with exceptionalism." Notes of gratitude like this one reveal how committed, personally committed, our faculty and staff are to the success of our students. And our students deserve this commitment because they are as exceptional as our faculty and staff. As I've said many times before, our students do not come to Ball State University with a sense of entitlement. They come to our institution with a sense of purpose. Approximately 34% of our undergraduate students are Pell Grant recipients. 14% are 21st century scholars, and the number of first-generation students is at an all-time high. The aspirations, the important aspirations of our students are reflected in these statistics, but I am inspired by the stories about our graduates' passionate pursuit of fulfilling careers and meaningful lives. This year, our state's 21st Century Scholar Program celebrated its 30th anniversary. Our university has graduated more than 4,600 21st century scholars through the history of the program, and one of those graduates is Mike Rivera. Mike earned his bachelor's degree in child development in 2013. 2 years later, he returned to our university, this time online, to earn his master's degree. Today, Mike works in northern Indiana as a home visitor with Head Start. He meets with low-income families to make sure their young children reach developmental milestones. As the first in his family to graduate from college, Mike is among many, many 21st century scholars who have chosen a career of selfless service. His reason is simple. Mike said, and this is a quote, "A lot of us have been given an opportunity to advance ourselves, and we want to give back. We want to help those who don't have a voice." Matt Pfeiffer is a Ball State student who wants to give back. Today, Matt is studying to earn his undergraduate degree in social work. But growing up as a child in foster care, Matt suffered years of abuse and neglect. After his adoptive parents were prosecuted for their crimes, Matt spent 2 years living in 8 separate foster homes. Matt wants no other foster child to go through what he did. That's why he created A Voice for Kids, a new nonprofit organization dedicated to helping people recognize the warning signs of abuse of children in foster care. Last January, Matt received national attention for his advocacy work when he participated in T-Mobile's Changemaker Challenge. As one of the contest winners, Matt received $2,000 and traveled to T-Mobile's headquarters where he met with mentors from that wireless company. Matt's capacity to overcome the hardships in his life, to turn negative experiences into positive ones, that story is inspiring. In fact, his story serves as a reminder to all of us right now that good can come from a challenging and difficult situation. And never in our history has a situation been more challenging than this current pandemic. I know that both professionally and personally, this pandemic has caused you and your families to endure many disappointments and many losses. And I know that the ongoing certainty, as the provost mentioned, that ongoing uncertainty begets anxiety. But despite these disappointments and that anxiety, I have been impressed, like she has, we have been gratified to witness the many ways in which the members of our university community have adjusted to the new version of academic life, one that's been reshaped by COVID-19. And I'd like to share just a few examples that illustrate the agility and tenacity of our faculty, students, and staff. Last spring, Professor Maura Jasper and the students in her immersive art class helped the Muncie Arts and Culture Council plan a micro-cinema festival. The students wanted to hold the festival in person, but of course they were preempted by pandemic restrictions. Maura's students saw this disruption as an opportunity to harness their creativity. They made a micro-cinema in a box. It contained everything they created for the event, from marketing and social media plans to graphics for print, and they presented the package to the council. And now the council is using these materials to promote the rescheduled festival that will take place in downtown Muncie. You may also have read the story about a group of students and recent graduates from our School of Music who created bassoons filling bellies. Harriet Legan, who graduated in May, she founded the group, which has been hosting weekly bassoon ensemble concerts on YouTube. Earlier this month, Harriet told me the performers were close to their goal of raising $2,000 for Feeding America. The money they've collected so far has funded more than 18,000 meals for people facing hunger during the pandemic. Harriet and so many others, they are a reminder of the spirit of beneficence, which is the hallmark of our university. Beneficence also reminds us that we are grounded in certain enduring values, one of which is gratitude. And in the spirit of beneficence, of gratitude, I want to join the provost in thanking our faculty and staff, each and every one of you, who redesigned courses for hybrid and online instruction. In May, we converted all of our on-campus summer courses, approximately 400 sections, to online courses. And this fall, we have migrated approximately 900 traditionally on-campus courses to online instruction. This was a Herculean task. And like Susanna, I'm grateful to our colleagues from the Division of Online and Strategic Learning and from the Office of Information Technology for helping our faculty accomplish this remarkable feat. Yes, I heard a little applause. Yep. Little hard with 50 of you. Maybe the other 500 are sitting at their desks cheering as well. But I want to join Susanna in thanking the Office of Undergraduate Admissions for quickly shifting our campus tours and summer orientation to a virtual format. Last spring, the staff purchased a social media app to help our incoming students connect with each other during orientation, which was conducted virtually. Within a month of ZMe's launch, that's the social media platform, the prospective students who downloaded the app had logged 70,000 views that were created by our orientation leaders, and in that same time, those prospective incoming students, they exchanged more than 45,000 messages with each other. So I'm grateful to Paula Luff and Chris Munchell and their colleagues for helping us engage with our incoming students. Also want to recognize our staff in the bursar's office and in financial aid. They deserve special recognition for distributing more than $7 million of CARES Act funds in a very short period of time to thousands and thousands of our eligible students. Throughout last spring and summer, as Susanna mentioned, we faced an urgent need to provide timely updates about our university's response to the pandemic. And I want to join Susanna in thanking Kathy Wolf and her team in marketing and communications for helping us to distribute and prepare those videos and those messages. Now, since March, I have received several emails from parents expressing their gratitude for our clear and consistent communications. One father, Ellis Reyes, described our emails, quote, as a positive lifeline to the fall semester. Ellis told me that because of COVID-19, his daughter Maria spent the final months of her high school career in Mercer Island, Washington. She spent that final semester and few weeks in a funk. Until one drizzly afternoon, when Maria, who was filling her car up with gas, received a call. It was Bill Jenkins, from our Department of Theater and Dance calling to let Maria know that she had secured one of only 22 available openings in our BFA in acting program. In his own words, Ellis said, "Maria's tears were immediate and overwhelming. So much so that a kind woman getting gas at an adjacent pump came over to ask her if she was okay. My daughter's reply was, 'This is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life.'" Ellis shared this story with me in response to the email I sent out about our plans for the fall. Ellis told me he appreciated our courageous choice to resume some on-campus instruction. He wrote, "We'll be there in a couple of months to drop off my daughter, proudly embracing our new role as BSU parents." And we were able to welcome Maria to campus because of the hundreds of employees who dedicated themselves to our safe return. I'm especially grateful to the members of our trust committee who helped to coordinate our response to the pandemic. The committee identified a range of issues and they made recommendations for how to prioritize safety in our classrooms, our offices, our residence halls, our dining halls, and our rec facilities. And I want to thank Student Affairs and Housing and Residence Life for safely helping our students move out of the residence halls last spring and then spending so much time this summer developing protocols to allow them to move back this past week. We also benefited from the dedication of hard work of our colleagues in facilities. Jim Lowe and his team have done a great job adjusting our classrooms to reduce density, installing physical distancing signs and plexiglass barriers across campus, and acquiring and using necessary cleaning and sanitizing supplies. I'm also grateful to those employees whose responsibilities required them to work on campus during the pandemic. From our maintenance crews and landscapers to our custodians and cashiers, these women and men kept our university running, and their hard work and dedication did not go unnoticed. You see, for a few weeks ago, I received an email from a local East Central Indiana resident who graduated from Ball State in 1969. This gentleman told me that he has stage 4 prostate cancer. To keep his muscles and his body strong, he and his wife drive in from Eaton several times a week just to walk around our campus. And in his email he wrote, "This year, the BSU grounds are more beautiful than ever." He asked me in his own words, "Please thank your fantastic groundskeeping crew." He told me in his message that their work has extended his life. So this morning I have an opportunity to honor his request. And I also want to extend my gratitude, all of our gratitude, to the dedicated women and men who every day, no matter the weather, keep our campus clean and beautiful. And I want to recognize one of our bus drivers, Brian Kemp. Brian's name came up during one of the campus conversations I had with faculty and staff last winter, and his name came up in several emails that I received last spring. One of those emails came from a student named Lindsay Leeson. Lindsay wrote, quote, "I wanted to let you know that I truly appreciate the bus drivers at Ball State. There is one driver, though, who has gone above and beyond to help students and to make sure they're safe. His name is Brian, and he drives one of the orange loops. He is the best bus driver I have ever had the honor to meet." Brian's dedication exemplifies our individual and collective commitment to excellence. And now I must speak about how grateful I am, how grateful we all should be that our university was able to sustain our operations last spring without taking the kind of disruptive cost-cutting measures that other institutions were forced to take. Last March, as we know from reading newspapers and news accounts, that cost-cutting measures were beset many other institutions, but our trustees authorized an extraordinary temporary leave plan. Under this plan, any employee who was unable to work because of COVID-19 received their regular pay through the remainder of the fiscal year, which ended on June 30th. The financial benefit to our employees who took advantage of this plan was $3.1 million. And we should feel fortunate that we work for an institution that has managed our resources prudently. That fiscal prudence has allowed us to support our employees in this important way. But of course, we're not immune. We're not immune to the economic fallout of this pandemic because of a $10 million reduction in our state appropriation this year, as well as some uncertainty around enrollment. We had to implement cost-cutting measures to reduce our operating expenses this year. And I appreciate the people who had to make these difficult decisions, and I know that many of you have worked hard to support our students and to support our colleagues. Because we cannot predict the end of this public health crisis, we may have to find additional efficiencies in the future. But we face this uncertainty from a position of strength. And this strength empowers us to confront these challenges, to confront them, I believe, with confidence. This strength gives us the capacity and the courage to weather this storm. We face another challenge as a campus, as a community, and as a country. The ongoing challenge of creating a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment for all people. This challenge was brought into sharp focus on our campus last January when an unfortunate incident took place in one of our classrooms. This incident happened on the same day, on the very same day that we announced our new Inclusive Excellence Plan, the first in our university's history. This plan was the result of a consultative process that flowed directly from our strategic plan. Our Inclusive Excellence Plan represents the next step in our journey. Of course, we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go to achieve our ambitious goal of inclusive excellence. But at the same time, we shouldn't overlook all of the work that has been completed by dedicated members of our campus community. This work serves as the foundation for our efforts to serve a student body that continues to grow increasingly diverse. Over the past 10 years, the number of unrepresented minority students has increased from approximately 2,100 to more than 3,800 students. Our on-time four-year graduation rate for these students has increased from only 24% now to 42%. And at the heart of our campus, we are building our new $4 million multicultural center, a facility that will allow us to expand programming to serve all of our students. I'm proud of our progress, but our Inclusive Excellence Plan recognizes that we have much more work to do. Much more work to do before we have a campus culture where every person feels welcome, respected, and valued. That's why, after hearing additional input from many people, I announced several actions that will enhance our inclusive excellence work. I shared these steps in a report that detailed our university's response to the requests I received from faculty, staff, and students. And I encourage you once again to review our Inclusive Excellence Plan and the progress report that I distributed in June. Both of these documents were made stronger by the wisdom of Marcia McGriff, our Associate Vice President for Inclusive Excellence. I'm grateful to Marcia and her team for helping us to advance the goals of our Inclusive Excellence Plan. One of these goals is our university's commitment to provide inclusive excellence training to members of our campus as well as to our local communities. In just the past few weeks, Marcia and her team have conducted training sessions with some of our staff, with the YMCA, with MCS teachers and staff, and with city and county law enforcement officers. Marcia is also the champion of Inclusive Excellence Taking Flight, one of the new initiatives supported by our Strategic Imperative Fund. With this initiative, Marcia will create Inclusive Excellence Champions, a certificate program that will help people develop the skills they need to advance equity, diversity, and inclusion in their lives and in their workplaces. In her research, Marcia discovered that there is no other college and university in Indiana that is offering a program like ours. Now, a good plan and specific metrics, those are tangible elements of a successful strategy to achieve inclusive excellence. But I believe some intangible attributes are also vital to our success. In our beneficence pledge, we ask every member of the Ball State community to value the intrinsic worth of every person. To live this pledge, I believe that we must listen empathetically to the perspectives and to the experiences of other people. We must listen with an open mind. We must listen with humility. We must listen with an open heart. And we must listen with compassion and with grace. And I believe that our students lead us in this work. I saw this truth when in June our students organized a massive, peaceful march right here from our campus to downtown Muncie. And I recently heard another story that validates my belief that it is our students who can inspire us to care for and respect others, including and especially people who are different from us. In June, Clark Kitchen heard about a Black Lives Matter demonstration happening in Fort Wayne. Clark asked his mother to drive him from Huntington to hand out food to the people who were peacefully demonstrating. A reporter asked Clark what had prompted him to want to feed the demonstrators who were gathered in front of the city's courthouse. Clark said he was inspired to help people make a positive change because what he had seen on social media and because of the Ball State University Beneficence Pledge. So Clark and so many of our students embody our commitment to inclusiveness. And I suggest that we follow their lead. I believe the late Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights hero, also embodied our enduring values. I never met Congressman Lewis, but I did have an opportunity to hear him speak, and I will never forget the experience. It was a frigid April morning in 2018, in April. It was 50 years to the day that Dr. Martin Luther King was shot and killed in Memphis. Congressman Lewis and I were both in Indianapolis for a dedication ceremony, commemorating the famous speech that Bobby Kennedy gave there after learning that Dr. King had been assassinated. Congressman Lewis was there because he had been in Indianapolis with Kennedy on the night that Dr. King was assassinated. I was at the dedication ceremony because of Ball State's connection to that speech, a speech that Kennedy had delivered just hours after he had made a campaign stop here at our university. I sat in the front row of the ceremony listening to Congressman Lewis speak. The power and the passion of his words warmed our hearts. He gave me hope. He gave me hope to believe in a world that will be more peaceful and more just. Now, as you know, Congressman Lewis died a month ago this week. 2 days before he passed, he submitted an essay to the New York Times, an essay he asked the newspaper to publish on the day of his funeral. Congressman Lewis wrote, quote, "In my life I have done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom ring. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide." And I submit, as we continue on our quest for equal justice, let his words, let those words be our guide. In the days following Congressman Lewis's death, I read firsthand accounts from people whose lives he touched. Some people knew Congressman Lewis for years. For others, their connection to him was forged in just a few seconds. In just a few seconds that it took for him to offer a handshake or a hug. Those stories remind me that each one of us has the capacity to make a positive impression on people, much in the same way Congressman Lewis had a positive impact on so many. I think about a faculty member who always makes a student feel like their question is her opportunity to help that student succeed. I think about the advisor who, even when she's out of the office, responds promptly to a student's email. I think about the bus driver who waits to make sure his passenger gets to her car safely. I have the privilege, as the president of Ball State University, I have the privilege of hearing these stories. Stories that demonstrate how your everyday acts of kindness and generosity have a transformative impact on our students. Last November, I received an email from the mother of one of our graduates, Gunnar Bills. Gunnar graduated from our university with honors in May 2019. But when his parents brought Gunnar to campus his freshman year, they weren't sure that he would even complete his first semester. The same day that Gunnar moved into his room in Doherty Hall, the Bills were back before midnight to pick him up. Gunnar's mother, Vanessa, wrote, "I knew that then this was the beginning of a long year." Gunnar was highly intelligent, but he had poor social skills, and he was homesick. His parents were determined to keep their son enrolled at Ball State, even though it meant that they had to drive down from Fort Wayne every Friday to pick him up and then bring him back to campus just a few days later. Each week, Vanessa would ask Gunnar what he liked about Ball State, and Gunnar would only talk about his computer science classes, and that was it. Then one day, Gunnar told his mother about a custodian that he had met. Gunnar texted his mother, "There is this custodian here who is really nice, and he's trying to learn our names. I like him." Every other day, Gunnar would tell his mother about how this custodian would say things to him like, "Hi, Gunnar. Hope you're having a good day," or, "Hey, Gunnar, you doing anything on fall break? I'm going fishing." In her own words, Vanessa wrote, "I believe this custodian saved my son. Saved my son from leaving Ball State. Gunnar had someone who knew his name outside of class, and I knew things were turning around when Gunnar decided to dress up for Halloween and to pass out candy at Doherty." Vanessa continued in her letter to me, "At the end of his first semester, he decided to stay. I'm not sure the ending would have been the same had it not been for that custodian. To this day, I'm not sure of his name, but I believe it was Steve." According to Vanessa, when Gunnar returned to campus his sophomore year, this custodian was the first person to say, "Hi, Gunnar, I'm glad you're back." Vanessa shared with me that she had wanted to write this letter several times, but that she'd always gotten distracted. In her final line, Vanessa wrote, 4 years later, Gunnar graduated, and he has since started a good career, and that is in part due to that kind custodian in Doherty." Ladies and gentlemen, that kind custodian is here with us today in Emmons Auditorium. Steve Smith, thank you for joining us. So I asked Steve to be my special guest so that I could recognize him for the remarkable impact that he had on Gunner's life and I believe on so many other students at our university. Now, Steve's here and he knew that I was going to acknowledge him this morning. What he didn't know was how I planned to conclude my remarks, by presenting him with one of our university's highest honors, the President's Medal of Distinction. Susanna, would you assist me? Steve, in conferring upon you the President's Medal of Distinction, all of us recognize your character and your kindness in your service to our students. And so it is my distinct honor to bestow upon you this President's Medal of Distinction. So, Steve, I suspect that you will remember this day, but please know it is a memorable moment for me too. Today is only the second time that I have bestowed this medal upon a deserving recipient. And I did so because you remind us. You remind us that every day, today and every day, we have the opportunity to transform the lives of another person. So at the outset of my remarks, I implied that this past year was, in reality, 2 very different years. But as I prepared these remarks and as I reflected on the past year, I realized that while, of course, there were some stark differences, there was, in fact, a common theme, a subtle but powerful thread that was inextricably woven throughout this past year. That common theme is the commitment of the women and men of Ball State University. Today, even in the midst of the ongoing challenges we face, I stand before you more proud, more grateful, and yes, more confident than ever before. And it's because of all of you. It's because of all of you that I know that our best days are yet to come. I believe that our best days are yet to come, and I believe that we will overcome this temporary challenge because we can rely on each other. We can depend on each other. We can lean on each other. This year, our support for one another is going to look different. It will be different because we must maintain physical distance. We must wear masks, masks that hide our smiles and our expressions of empathy. We can't shake hands right now. We can't give hugs. We can't rely on many of the traditional ways in which we forge a physical connection that demonstrates our bond, our interdependency as human beings. And yet, because of the pandemic, we have come to realize that we are, in fact, increasingly dependent on each other. Increasingly dependent on each other for our safety, for our health, and for our personal well-being. So as we steel ourselves for the uncertainties that lie ahead, let us soften our hearts. Let us be there for each other as colleagues and as friends. And in what has become now my signature send-off at these events, I've once again asked Bill Jenkins to help me close out our program. Because of the pandemic, Bill had to get even more creative with this year's performance. So he asked Professor Christoph Thompson and Talon Cooper, a telecommunications student, to help him create a music video. Bill assembled a talented group of theater students and graduates, including Kayla Davion, who is currently on hiatus from her lead role in the Tina Turner musical on Broadway. This group will perform a compilation of 2 songs arranged by Professor Michael Rafter. So as we embark, ladies and gentlemen, have a good day, a great year, and enjoy this moving video.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow.
But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Lean on me
when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need someone to lean on.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you, and take your soul if you let them. Don't let them. You just call me when you're not strong. You know wherever I am, and I'll be your friend. I'll come running to see you. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. Spring, summer, or fall, it won't be long. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Lean on me. Don't it feel good when you're not strong? You know I'm your friend, and I'll be your friend. I won't be cold. I'll help you carry on. Never gonna hurt or desert you. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, it won't be cold. I'll come running till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise,